do you think?
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Anchor of the Week, where you don't have to.
You don't have to. You just don't have to.
Yeah, that was horrible. Where you don't have to agree with us to be friends with us. Okay,
We
no.
are keeping that. We are
No.
keeping it. That has to be it. That has to be it, Courtney.
Can I just do a proper intro for my own?
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, do it again.
Hey, everyone, welcome back to the Anchor of the Week, where you don't have to agree with us to be friends with us.
Woo! And the studio audience goes wild. Just kidding.
Yeah, I know. Well,
It's
yeah.
just us two.
It's just us two in a new location. If you're watching,
if you're watching it.
I mean, same building,
Yeah.
different location.
Different studio.
Access Studio is too high in demand today.
Honestly, yeah, popping off.
So I don't know. I'm kind of vibing with this though. I like the colors of it.
We've got, if you can't tell, we're in the tattoo studio. You probably don't know. What do I mean you can't tell? We're in the tattoo studio here at the cave.
Yes, they don't have anyone in here today, so
Yeah.
essentially we just float wherever.
Wherever there's space.
We're happy. We're
Honestly,
so happy.
Yeah, just give us a mic and a camera and we're good.
Sometimes a little too happy.
Yeah, honestly.
Sometimes, honestly, don't give us a mic and a camera.
Honestly, no. I was joking the other day how I feel like someone said something about how like you and I are really good at like handling mics, you know, being able to like be present on a mic or whatever. And I was like, yeah, we are just like queen of the mics or something like that.
Wait, someone said that we're able to be present on the.
No, that's Sadie paraphrasing what was being said. Being like,
Well,
you and
I'm
I
s-
host well, we MC well, all that different kind of stuff. And they were just like giving us compliments. And I was just like, yeah. I mean, we are queen of the mics. I was like, that should be a new segment of the Anchor of the Week. It's
Queen
just
of the
Queen of the
Mics.
Mics. And it's just, I don't know what it would be.
I just be us yapping still.
Yeah, just a different version of
Yapping, but with crowns on.
this. Yes. Have you seen, you know, like Nikki Bronski? How she does like the court
Oh, and like the
with the lights, and she does like, you are sir, whatever, and she interviews different celebrities.
Wow, that would be, yeah. I'd love to do that. Or not that, but like imagine having
something.
like the budget to.
Dude, like a full set
Yeah.
dedicated to like one segment.
That, yeah. Hey, one day.
One day.
You never know.
Yeah.
By the way, just before we totally get off this, last week's intro,
Yes.
big
Drum
reveal.
roll, drum roll. Taylor. That was Taylor.
That was Taylor last week.
Again, we caught her off guard while hanging out, while we were having our meeting for the Anchor of the Week.
Yeah.
And she was there, and we were telling her how this is like a new thing that we're going to be doing. And then I was like, by the way, Taylor, go ahead, hit the record button. Give us your Anchor of the Week intro. So it was great.
I
It was
love our
cute.
friends, man.
Yeah.
They're the best.
Hope you figure it out this week. Dun, dun, dun. No, I'm kidding.
And again, what do you win? Nothing.
Yeah. Just the your good old pat on the back. Like, pat yourself on the back. Being like, yeah, I got that right.
You were in school, do you like give yourself a round of applause?
Oh my gosh.
I'm gonna put my mic down. We had to like.
Yeah, in a circle. In my school, we did the whole like silent applause thing. Like I had a lot of,
This?
Yeah, I had a lot of teachers who were like, guys, we can't make too much noise, so let's so and so like Sydney just did a report. Give her a silent applause. Shaking of the hand.
Well, it's because it's sign language.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
But like when you're a bunch of fifth graders
It's weird.
having to listen to a book report and you're
Public
just like,
and then you just.
let me clap, please, please. Anyway, what's
Yeah.
today's topic, Courtney?
Today's topic is greatness.
Greatness. I want it to like
No.
flash across the screen.
But I see it in like word art almost.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
exactly.
Like-
Like PowerPoint.
Yeah.
Like,
Okay, I would love to set the context for this though.
yeah, please.
Because
Another great moment.
another great moment. Once again, when I say I love our friends for putting up with us.
Honestly, yeah. I hope they know that we're good.
I think so, because we're intentional after.
Yeah, that's
To
true.
be
that's
like,
true.
we love each other.
We love each other. We're good.
Okay, so no, this is what happened, right? So we were at a friend's birthday party yesterday, and we were doing like a paint and sip, which, by the way, I was so proud of myself. I didn't get stressed out. Didn't yell at my paper at all.
Yeah.
Like, you know.
You know, it's funny. I was also, this is a little sidebar, because going into it, I also had a moment of being like, oh my gosh, I could really stress over this.
Yeah.
Even though, like, ahead of time, Perry, who it was her birthday, was like, guys, don't stress over this. Like, this is just fun.
Yeah.
But I remember literally as I sat down with my piece of paper.
It was like paint by numbers.
Yeah.
But like adult paint by numbers.
Yeah, and super tiny. Like, very intricate, cute little, like, flowers and plants.
Yeah.
But I also had a moment of being like, oh, you know what? I'm not going to let this ruin my fun.
I know.
And I was like, it's abstract. It's all abstract. Don't think
It's
too deep.
true. It's true. We're
Yeah.
just here for a giggle. Anyway, I still haven't even watched it.
Oh, yeah. Should we watch it right now?
I think we're allowed to.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we can watch it and then like just cut to
I was like,
after
yeah.
you've seen it.
Anyway, they don't even know what I'm talking about.
Okay, let's give go ahead and preface. Yeah.
Okay, so we're there, painting, snacking, drinking. Okay, by the way, as well, I would just like to say this because it's so funny. Obviously, we've got our drinks out on the table and little things of water to like dip our paintbrushes in.
That are around the same size.
Yeah. And we joked, we're like, oh, someone's gonna like dip their brush in their drink. I kid you not. And I love that it was you.
Yeah, it was actually hilarious.
We were painting, but someone had moved the water. So I was like,
I think I did actually.
Oh.
To be fair, I think honestly it was all my fault. I'm the one who set you up for failure.
It's so funny because I'm not really paying attention. I'm locked in on my numbers and I'm going to paint. I'm going to have a good time.
Yeah.
Right. And I'm going to care about it. And I go to dip my brush and I just dunk it right into Sadie's margarita.
Not even like a dunk. Like you were.
And I was mid whisk.
Whisking the margarita around with her paintbrush.
It was just and I realized what I was doing.
So funny.
And someone had to do it. So it was most likely going to be me. We all knew that.
Yeah.
But I'm glad it was you.
Yeah. So funny. Anyway.
Very funny. Anyway, so we're all just chatting, and then you brought up Timothee Chalamet's, was it SAG Awards? Acceptance speech, because he won Best Actor for A Complete Unknown. I finally got the movie title right. I could not get it right for the life
honestly,
of me.
I kept forgetting what it was.
Yeah. Yeah, do you want to, should I watch it now, or do you want to talk about the way you brought it up and the fight we got into? In front of all of our friends.
I think with that, we should watch it now and then come back to it.
Okay, so I just watched it. That's what that cut was. Okay, so I want to paint the picture here.
Yeah, please. About last night.
Last night, we were going at it. But the other thing was, we're going at it like with other people.
Yeah.
Giving their 2 cents. And I'm like,
Also, let me say this.
Also, going at it is so like.
Yeah, going at it. Yeah.
For me and Sadie going.
Yeah, exactly. I love everyone. I love our friend group. I love all of us. What last night made me realize is there's certain things that I just like can't bring up with the whole group. I'm like, I brought up the speech to Timothee Chalamet at the SAG Awards mainly because I was truly inspired by it and wanted to talk more about it because I thought you and I had similar conversations recently about like people who are successful, how they get successful, whatever. So I was like, okay, great, and it's not me diminishing anyone else's opinion.
No.
But it was interesting because I was just like, whoa, because everyone had already so much to say about it.
What it is, it's for people that didn't even watch it, right? 'Cause I think you were the only one that watched it.
Yeah, exactly. And I was trying to give my like paraphrased version of what he said in his speech.
Which we can all admit wasn't very good.
It was a really bad paraphrase. Something else I learned after last night? I need to stop paraphrasing things because I think in general, I'm just really bad at it. Because I take away what I take away and I go, those are the points that stuck to me. Let me give those points back to you without like the context of what was actually there.
Because you were explaining to me. So the speech itself is basically, okay, how Sadie portrayed it to me, okay, is basically, and you were like excited because you were like, oh, Courtney's gonna love this. And I was like, that's awful. But like how Timothee Chalamet won, the SAG, right? And he was basically saying, I want to be one of the greats. Like, I was naming Daniel Day-Lewis and Viola Davis and Michael Jordan and Michael Phelps and like all these people know him to be like the greats. And you're like, yeah, no, he wants to be a great. And I was like,
and that's how I said it. Yeah, exactly.
And I was like, that like really rubs me the wrong way. Like it really genuinely does. And then we had this whole thing, and then other people started to get involved, and then
you and I got heated like we usually do.
Yeah, but then it was like in front of everybody, so then it was like everyone was egging each other on, and like of course our good friend Carrie though was also like, she's like, you guys want a mic?
Yeah, exactly. She's like, should we start filming? Like,
she's a big fan of the podcast. Not just a fan of the podcast, but she is a big support of the podcast.
She really is.
So shout out Carrie.
Points to the camera. I love our points to the camera. Should we just do it like this? Or are we both the same side? There we go. Hearts for Carrie. Hearts for Carrie.
And if you, I hope you are watching so you could see that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that was the whole thing.
But then it was funny because we ended it having a moment of being like, anyway, away, grabs our glasses. We don't have to agree with us to be friends with us.
Literally.
Clinked, because it's great to have disagreements.
Yeah. And I think we both realized, okay, like, and I admitted this, was like, I actually haven't seen it.
Right.
So I can't actually give my full opinion. But like, from what you're telling me, this is what I'm getting. And what I was getting was that's arrogant. Like, but I also understand that I am like the biggest proponent for like, or like supporter champion of like, there's greatness inside of all of us.
Yeah.
Right? Like, there's something in us. And so when we're like, maybe we should talk about this on the podcast tomorrow.
Yeah.
And we're like, hey, I was thinking about it today and this morning, and I was even listening to a different podcast, totally unrelated, like about two like pastors in their 40s and 60s or whatever. Like, just talking about leading churches.
And greatness.
And they were talking about greatness. And I was like, oh, this is so good. Like, yeah.
It's an interesting topic. Because as well, watching this back, you know, because we just watched it.
Yeah. Oh, we should give context what it's actually like as well.
Yeah,
like,
yeah. Well, I was like, even watching it back, like, I even realized he didn't immediately say, like, I want to be one of the greats. He was saying, like, I am inspired by the greats.
Yes.
The greats in this room, the greats such as, names off, all these greats, not only as actors, but also in the field of sports, right? So, like, Daniel Day-Lewis.
People that are top of their craft.
Exactly. And he's like, and I pursue to be, or I aspire to be, is what he said, like, one of the greats.
And he started with being like, well, he said, like, usually it's the classiest thing to downplay your work, but like, you're saying this award means so much to me because I gave 5 years of my life to it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, that's cool. And I do appreciate that, like, that aspect of it. And I do agree that I think a lot of times we should not have that false humility of like, oh my gosh, I don't deserve this. It's like, no, like, you put heart and soul into it, you know? So it's great. Like,
and I also think, not to get on this tangent, but like in the world of, like in the industry of acting and performing, I think actors sometimes get a bad rep when it comes to the hard work, quote unquote, that they put into their craft. Because I think people can look at them in the movies and the shows and say, oh, like, they're just acting. Like, how hard can it be? Why do they get all this kind of recognition? Why do they get all this money? Why do they get all this attention? And like, for him to even say that, I think is like very respectable, because I think actors do go under a lot of pressure and put a lot of themselves into this thing.
For better or for worse.
Yeah, exactly. True. And whether they get recognized for it or not, like, actors are committed. Like, if you're a good actor, you're committed, you know?
Yeah, that's
and so
so
then
true.
to then get recognized for the hard work is like, yeah, that's great. And that's what you want, you know?
Yeah.
So I love that he was just like, yeah, it was 5 years of my life and it was hard work, you know?
Yeah, and he said that he was using it, like, the award as fuel to continue on. And I get it. Like, he wants to be a serious actor, and when you're a little, like, heartthrob, obviously that's hard sometimes, you know?
Yeah, trying to change your persona even.
Yeah, and so I get that. And I, you know, respect it. Like, is it my favorite acceptance speech I've ever seen? No. What did annoy me the most, though, was I do not understand, okay, the mics at all these award shows. You don't need it up to your face like this mic. No. Like, they're good enough mics that anyone can stand.
Exactly.
And it will pick up your voice.
Yep.
Why does every actor have a hard time
understanding
Timmy,
that?
You wasted like 30 seconds of your speech trying to figure out the mic. When all you do is stand there and talk. That's always been my pet peeve.
It is funny. I don't understand how they don't get that. It is like every award show, they're just like, oh, and they bend down to talk into it.
It's like, that's not how. Anyway, that's not what this is
we're
about.
queen of the mics. They just don't know. They don't know.
So also, I told you I was going to get riled up today. I just screamed. But that was the best little callback. Love that. Okay. But greatness.
But yeah, greatness. Anyway.
Okay, should I tell you about my revelation that I had
please.
today? Because obviously then this morning I was thinking about it. I'm dog sitting. So I was actually walking the dog in the park. And I was like, okay, why did I have such a reaction? Is it because I'm jealous? You know, I'm trying to figure out, okay, why was it such a big thing for me?
Yeah, yeah.
Because I do believe, and like, for lack of a better word, like, I remember hearing this once years ago, and it really resonated with me, but the whole, like, there's like this seed of greatness within us, you know? And I've always been somebody that like knew that I was going to be called to big things, to great things, right?
Yeah.
And obviously I don't tell everyone that, saying it on the podcast, so. But you know what I mean? Like, but it's more of like, I realize there's like greatness, and like, I am looking for like, or I believe that there's something within me, something God-given that is like significant. Greatness and significance.
Yeah, yeah.
But then you have greatness for like Tower of like Babel greatness.
Right.
We want to be great. Right? As opposed to this other greatness that I think that I'm more of what I see in humanity, like the deep of humanity, is this God-given thing. Say like, I don't want to live a mediocre life.
Yeah.
You know, like there's something in me that knows that I was created for life and life that's fullness and to go after big things. That to me, that is greatness, right? And then in the podcast I was listening today, I'm going to butcher this because I actually don't remember the actual biblical reference. But essentially when like, who was it? John and somebody asked Jesus was like, hey, like, can we be,
John and James.
John and James,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, the
Sons
brothers.
of Thunder.
Sons of Thunder, yeah.
That was like Sons of Thunder, which I don't like. If I was a man, I would name my band Sons of Thunder. Sorry, if I was a musical man.
Okay, I was like, if you were a man, just if I was a man and I had sons, they're Sons of Thunder. Okay,
Anyway,
guys, if you were a band, okay,
if I was a
man
band, a man band. If I was a dad band,
there we go. Not Sons of Sunday, it would be Sons of Thunder.
Oh, that's yeah, that's a very niche Christian joke there.
Yeah,
for you.
honestly. Sorry.
Not sorry. Anyway, okay, but they were asking, right? And they were like, how do we get to be like great and sit beside you and be whatever?
Yeah.
And like Jesus didn't say like stop pursuing greatness, that's dumb. He said, well, if you want to be great, then serve.
Yeah.
Right? It's like he remolded what greatness was. Like greatness is not status, it's not being elevated, it's not having the tallest building, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not trying to, because Babylon, right? It was like trying to like reach God.
Yeah.
Right? Like and like be God, almost be equal.
Yeah.
I don't want greatness. Like I believe God put greatness in humanity, but only like he is the greatest.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so for me, where it gets iffy is when you are trying to be, I want to be the greatest.
Right.
I want to be,
Right.
I want to be my greatest. I want to, you know, obviously, but does that make sense?
Yeah, I think it does.
Okay. Because, and so for me, that was really what was like rubbing me wrong about Timmy.
When I was telling you, for sure.
Cause I'm like, I want to be great. I want to be Michael Phelps. And I'm like, what the frick? Like, sorry. I was going to say pipe down Timmy, but I should be saying pipe down Courtney.
Let's just all pipe down.
Let's just everyone pipe down across the board.
Yeah. No, but I see your frustration for sure. And it's because I think for me, I respect the fact that he even had like the boldness to say that, you know? But, and kind of getting off of Timmy now, but like I personally think that I'm also inspired by people who are really great at what they do.
Yeah.
Right? Like I feel like you and I have talked about this before. It doesn't have to be like the best actor or whatever, but like I will get moved to tears if I'm watching like a sports team, you know, like watching freaking Argentina win the World Cup. Obviously because like, you know, fan of Messi, whatever, but also like the level of greatness and like excellence that they play at, I'm like, I am moved by that. I'm inspired by that, right?
Yeah.
And I even think we had a conversation about this on the podcast even. I think it was with Minha and Jetson when we had to talk about what are you inspired by, right? Like, I love seeing people who are really good at what they do it well, and do it from a place of humility, right? Okay.
But you're watching people that are thriving in their purpose.
Yes.
And I think that's kind of like the glue of it too.
Yeah,
It's like, we see people like this, but they are living out what I believe they are meant to be living out.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that is, I think, what moves us. If we are all the greatest in our own, like, our own lane.
Yeah.
You know? Like.
No, I agree.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. And because even, the thing is, though, on top of that, though, for me, it's like, not only is seeing someone be really great at their craft is what inspires me. It's how they act in that greatness. Okay. Because genuinely, nobody likes arrogance, right?
Yeah.
So if someone is really good at what they do and they're cocky about it, even if they are good, I'm automatically like, I don't like that. You know, I'm not inspired by you.
Yeah.
Because that, in going back to what you said, feels very Tower of Babel, feels very like, even if you are really good at it, but you're like, you know, hyping yourself up about it.
Yeah.
I'm like, that is not greatness.
That's not it.
You know, like.
Well, and again, and like, obviously, I'm going to go back to biblical models. That's my worldview.
Yeah.
But like, the whole idea of Jesus being like, you want to be great, then serve. Like,
yeah.
You know, the last shall be the first, right?
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
Just that whole mindset of like, you can have the status, but it's the posture within the status that truly makes you great.
Yeah, true. The posture within the status. That's good. Yeah.
Thanks. Yeah, every once in a while I come up with those. But
Once in a while. I feel like you come up with them quite often.
yeah,
Drops those one-liners.
I was being modest.
See how your posture and your status. Queen of the mic, but staying humble.
Queen of the mic, but staying humble. Yeah. Do you aspire to greatness?
I've had this conversation recently. Not that
Really?
direct question.
Oh, I was like, who are you
But
talking
like
to about this?
I was thinking about like, because I, you know, am an actress in that field, in the industry of like whether stage or film, and like even just a creator, like beyond being an actress, like a creator in those industries.
Yeah.
You know, like I love directing, I love doing all this stuff. I've had this thought of like, okay, but do I even strive to be great at it? Like, do I want that, or am I okay in the level of where I'm at? You know,
Dude.
because I was talking to our friend Josiah about this because we, you know, like Josiah and I work as, you know, baristas at this cafe, and I love my job. He loves his job. We love it. And sometimes I think though, I'm like, I'm at a point where do I want a quote unquote big girl job in the industry that I feel called to, you know, or am I even okay? Like, am I, how am I trying to say this? Like, is my mindset even in a place of being like, yeah, I do want that. I want to strive to be that and be good at that in that level, or am I okay just being here? You know, like just being a barista forever.
Yeah.
And so it's like I've had to challenge myself recently of, okay, yeah, I do want to strive more for greatness, specifically in this.
Okay, I'm gonna bring up Mr. Beast.
Oh, please. I was waiting. I was like, when is the right time to bring up Mr. Beast?
Okay, so I mean, biggest YouTuber in the world, Mr. Beast. People have lots of thoughts on him. I don't know. I've watched him with the little girl that I babysit sometimes. Like,
I've never seen any of his videos.
yeah, like it's definitely not our thing.
Yeah.
Our thing. Yeah, but anyway, he was on Diary of a CEO with Stephen Bartlett. And that conversation was incredible. Like, I just saw the teaser on Instagram, showed it to you. Oh, you're like, you have to watch it. I've showed it to multiple people. Like, a lot of our friends have watched it. Well, at least one other one.
I think
Maybe
a
two.
couple other people. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, like, it's crazy. Because he was just so, like, he is successful because he refuses to settle for mediocrity.
Yeah.
And, like, to him, like, in his team, like, that is, he's like, I'd rather you, like, mess up. Like, just don't be mid.
Yeah,
Essentially,
exactly.
because like that's like the comfort state, and not like the bad comfort state, you know, the one that keeps you from wanting more.
Right.
And I think, yeah, I don't know fully where I was going. I think I also too just wanted to talk about Mr. Beast,
Yeah,
but
like,
it is the whole idea of like mediocrity.
Right. And I even going back to what I was saying about being inspired by people who are great. Like, I didn't realize that after listening to that episode, I'm like, wow, I'm actually inspired by Mr. Beast. Like, Jeremy, is that his name? His real name?
Jeremy,
Jeremy, whatever.
it's all the same.
Another J name. But I was like, after listening to it, I'm like, wow, that's actually super inspiring.
Yeah.
Because, you know, he's been doing it and striving for it since he was 11. He's like now 26.
So everyone looks at him and goes, "You're 26, and you're like,
yeah,
the most." What did he say? There was like that stat that was like because of however many billion people watch his channel. It's like you could take 33 people from anywhere in the world.
Oh, yeah.
And like statistically, one of them will watch his videos.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm like, that is insane.
Yeah.
And we look at that, go, you're 26. Like, how on earth? But again, it's because he started at 11 and did not stop.
Yeah.
So he's already been at this for 15 years.
Yeah.
And then I think we all look at people like him or like Messi or these people like that are like arguably the greats in their industry.
Right.
We go, we want that. We want that. But then you get a bit whatever. But we want the greatness, but are we willing to put in the work to get there?
Right.
Because if that's something that is in us, we have the capacity for it and all of our different things, you know. Obviously, I'm not going to be a footballer.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
But what's my area of quote unquote greatness where I could thrive? But am I willing to actually put the work into it?
Because greatness requires commitment. Like, I think that's literally what it is. And that was what Mr. Beast was saying was he the quote that he had in the trailer that we both were just like, oh my gosh. What did he say? Like, I'm only successful because I'm really good at being obsessed. Or something like that.
Yeah.
Like, he's, you know, he's like, I'm obsessed with YouTube, and he has been since he was 11. And that was what he put his sole focus in.
He said, I'm going to be successful.
I'm going to be successful, and was obsessed about it. And I think, you know, obviously there's lines in everything.
Yeah.
But I'm like, yeah, is it just, are people not being able to reach their greatness because they're not committed to it? Like, that's
I think
my
a lot
thought.
of it is.
Yeah.
Genuinely. And I think we want the greatness without the work.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? It's like, to like use this like the McDonald's version, you know, the microwave version of our greatness. And I think that's where a lot of our like dissatisfaction comes in.
Yeah. Wow, actually.
Yeah. I'm like not thinking about my life.
Yeah, like, whoa.
So yeah. But yeah, because like I don't know, like my big thing right now, not right now, but I think I've been more aware of it, and then like realizing that okay, I actually want this to like impact the way I live my life from like here on out.
Yeah.
Is like how do I call out like purpose in people?
Yeah.
You know, to be like, hey, you have a personality, you have a gifting, like there's a need in the world, figure out what all of that is, how they meet. And that's like your thing.
Yeah.
Like go find your thing that like gives you life, that improves the world, and just go do it.
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly.
But I'm like, why is that so? I mean, we could talk about capitalism, economic structures. We could talk about everything, you know what I mean? Or I'm just stuck in the grind. And it's like, well, sometimes the grind is actually what, I don't know, like, I am so like wary about using like words like this too.
Right. Yeah.
But it's like Jimmy, for example, Mr. Beast, ground.
He grounded his way.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like it was like all the time he said he had an 18-hour Skype call.
Yeah.
With his friends to try to figure out what videos he needed to make.
Like very early on in the YouTube. Yeah, before he was like big.
I was like, if anyone tried to do that with me, I'd be like, but I'm like,
what?
also your friends are equally committed and they believe in the vision. Like,
yeah,
that is crazy.
actually.
You know, of course, but so like it takes like that grind, the grind set mindset, if you will. But then it's like, okay, but also knowing that our identity doesn't come from that.
Exactly.
What's the line? And I think we like love to jump on either side. Like I'm just grinding and this is who I am now. Or
I'm obsessed with this thing and this is all I do. This is all I am.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Or then it's the whole like, well, I'm going to do it from like a place of rest and I'm not.
Yeah.
But actually you're not moving.
Right. I'm like trying to think now like what it is. Not that we need to go there, but like what is it in society or culture that's telling us, I don't know, like one way or the other, you know, like why aren't people reaching their greatness, or like because
I think we find whatever side like confirms
like where we're comfortable.
what we want to hear. Yeah.
Classic.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
it's true. It's true. I also think part of it has to do with
yeah.
the whole sense of like being a jack of all trades, right? And how like sorry.
Sadie is actually sick. If you can't hear
tell
her
by
voice.
my voice, like yeah, but like how everyone, like the world tells you like you can be anything, you know? And I feel like so many people nowadays are like, oh, I can. Let me just have my foot in all of these different things, but never actually commit to anything. You
can't be anything you want to be. You can, in my opinion, sorry, preface, disclaimer, you can't be anything, but you can be who God created you to be.
Yeah.
There's endless opportunities. But
that's so good. Point blank, period.
Yeah, I don't think that was not coming from me originally.
Really?
I don't think so.
Well, I was like, I've never heard that before, so.
I don't know. I listen to so many audiobooks and podcasts and read so much these days.
That's fair. I feel like, yeah, half of my, like half of my opinions, half of my thoughts are just, like, quotes that I've stolen from people, from podcasts, from books, or whatever.
Good, right? That means we're learning.
Yeah. And keeping it, seeping it in.
Exactly. Yeah. Just can't give you credit, so whoever said that.
Yeah.
We gotta land the boat. Courtney Madison.
Dock the boat. Land the plane.
I was gonna say land the ship. But like spaceship?
I guess so.
Well, if that's ain't nothing being landed now. Let me just tell you that much.
And we're still in the air.
We can't find the runway. Okay, yeah, but if we're gonna tether this, because also greatness is such a, I don't know, sometimes it feels so like mystical or in the air.
That's true.
In the air.
That's true.
To say, you know, because like what even is it? Like it feels like there's not a lot of concreteness. So like if we're gonna anchor this, right, and like the call for greatness, I don't know, what's your like practical takeaway? What do you like? How do we move forward? You know,
I like what you were saying though earlier about how there's like greatness in all of us, how inherently that God has put something in all of us that we're called to. So in my brain, it's just not being afraid to step into that. You know, but also knowing that like you may never reach your biggest or like greatest capacity almost. Like, I don't know. I think about like to continue striving for it is knowing that you may never actually reach it.
That's so devil's advocate here.
Yeah.
Then wouldn't people just be like, well, then if I'm never going to reach it, why would I even try?
Because that's just like not doing anything for you. Like, because you never know how good you're going to be until you like actually take the step to be that.
Yeah.
You know, and it's scary and
Yeah.
it's easy to be like, oh, well, I'm never going to reach it. Like, that's such a sad thing to say.
So you just
So
giving yourself permission to stay mid.
Right. But like, we all can be great to an extent.
Yeah.
We just have to like, I don't know, commit to it and do it.
What do you think is your biggest like roadblock to becoming great, or to like walking in that greatness, or towards that greatness?
I think it's just the same thing for a lot of people. It's like the imposter syndrome of it. Of like, I feel like, you know, I've learned a lot about who I am over these past few years and what God has put in me. But it's just like this constant like little, you know, like devil on your shoulder being like, oh, but you can never actually.
Yeah.
But like, I think that is just literally the devil on your shoulder telling you that you can't.
Quite literally
The devil, you know? And like, yeah, like I also agree that God has put something in all of us and we just have to walk into it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I think you said that really well. Thanks, guys. I'm just kidding. But no, I think, yeah, it is true. And I just have this like, at the risk of sounding whatever, but like a legit passion for people to actually like find their purpose, you know?
Yeah.
And like, as you said, like there is something within us, you know, that I think it's also that like crave that we realize that we created for more.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. And I think maybe as we're kind of talking about it too, like that desire for greatness, like it's just that reminder, and we're never going to feel necessarily like I bet you Michael Phelps didn't feel like he like made it, or how's he feeling now that he can't or isn't doing what made him great, you know?
Exactly.
But it's almost like that insatiability reminds us that we were made for something that literally cannot be satisfied here.
Exactly.
My greatness will not satisfy me, you know?
If anything, my greatness should be able to serve.
Yeah.
To serve others, to serve the next generation, to serve
the
industry or whatever. Like that's, I think, what we should be striving for.
Exactly. To make change, to make a difference. But because we're like, quote unquote, in our lane, like we'll enjoy it too. It won't be easy, but there'll be an enjoyment. And that's something as well that I want to just like get better at, but also get better at talking about, especially within like the Christian sphere. Sometimes it's like, remember, you have to sacrifice, you have to obey, and it's going to be hard, but it's going to be worth it. And it's so true, but also like, but it's going to be fun.
Yeah.
There is enjoyment in it. And I think about, okay, if we're all, you know, like pursuing that greatness within us, you know, that God put there, like we're going to have fun because it's going to feel like we're in that like grace zone.
Yeah.
Again, that's a very like churchy word, but like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
100%.
Yeah. Anyway, thank you, Timothee Chalamet. Thank you, Mr. Beast.
Yeah.
For
the Kickstarter of the conversation today.
Yeah. What's your hope for anyone listening today?
I don't know. I just hope that people can recognize, that there's like greatness in them. Like I'm now, again, my brain is just thinking about that freaking 12th Night quote that I quoted earlier.
Do it. Say it. Come on.
Some achieve great, some are born great, and some have greatness thrust upon them. Which, like, to be fair, don't know if I agree with it. But like,
actually, no.
I'm saying
I don't know
it
what
again.
that means.
No, I don't really like it. But yeah, just the idea, like, we all have the capacity for greatness.
Like, your life might seem small, but it's not.
But it's not.
It could have a great impact.
Exactly.
Wow.
And that's it. The sigh. And I said what I needed to say.
And that's it. No, but guys, hopefully that this conversation made you think. Yeah. That's, I feel like, how we end every single of our episodes.
But genuinely, though.
But these are how our conversations happen. Yeah. They happen with, you know, something at a birthday party and then talking about it and then making us think about it.
Exactly.
Enough that we were like, okay, actually, let's talk about it on the podcast, because if we're talking about it, or if it's causing us to think about it.
Yeah, exactly.
Then hopefully we'll to other people too.
And I mean, just to, I know we're closing it out, but like even to call out, not in a bad way, in a good way, to shout out, our friend Michaela back in the States also sent a message both to Courtney and I this morning saying that she was listening to our episode about opinions with Jetson and how she had even thoughts of her own that she was thinking about because of that episode. And if anything, that's what I hope these, you know, this podcast is doing, is helping people to think deeper, question their thoughts, but also be able to like have conversations and be able to disagree with people as well. You know, that's what it's about for me.
It's so true. Also, full disclosure, I haven't listened to her message yet, so
that's okay. You will by the time this episode comes out.
Also, shout out to my mom for also loving that episode and leaving a comment on YouTube, which means Courtney, that could have been a cool segue, but I said the wrong word.
Oh.
Which brings me to...
Yeah, which means I can bring you to... There we go.
If you have thoughts, opinions, whatever, want to give us an encouragement like my mother, or your mom is also a good commenter on the podcast. Yeah. But leave us a comment. YouTube, on Spotify. Those are the only places where I watch the podcast.
Honestly, if you watch elsewhere, thanks.
Amazing. Love that for you so much. Not an album music girly. You will not find me there.
No, me neither.
No. But yeah, give us a rate. You know, it actually literally helps.
It really
does, especially a grassroots podcast like ours. But yeah, guys, we're thankful that you spent this time with us.
Yeah, thanks for joining in on the conversation.
And we'll see you